Hello and welcome to Meditate with Nate. My name is Nate and I'm excited to share a new episode with you. So today we're going to do a couple of new warm-ups. These are really important if you're going to be sitting for a while. We're going to learn how to stretch your front and your back, your sides, especially your midsection and your core. Also how to strengthen and energize this area so that you have the energy that it takes to sit with good posture for 10 minutes or more. We're going to learn a new breathing pattern today called the rectangle breath, and I'll explain how that works in a minute. And also, we've got a really cool tool called the Lotus Wrap, and it's a long cloth with a buckle, and you wrap it around your back and your legs, and it helps you sit straight with support. So, whereas like a cushion, which is pretty common, will help you by just propping up your hips and elevating your pelvis, the Lotus Wrap, as I'll show you, you'll wrap all the way around and it tightens the area between your knees and your back, bringing this together, which will support your core as well. It's a really great tool and I really recommend it. So I'll show you how that works as well, and then we'll get into some meditation. So first of all, let's do some warm-ups. And so if you can clear off a little space, and if you need any padding for your knees, we're going to do some hands and knee work. So a cushion works, or a mat or a blanket. So start with your hands and knees and just go through a few rounds of cat and cow. So exhale and round your upper back. Inhale and curve your lower back down. Your shoulder blades slide down and your hips tilt back and forward. So you can move with your breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, let your shoulder blades slide down so you're not crunching your neck. Exhale. One more time. Okay. So now let's move into a low plank pose. So you can stretch out onto your belly first. And let's actually do a little cobra before we do the plank. So bring your hands under your shoulders, point your toes, and just lightly lift. So you're pulling your hands backwards so your chest comes forward. Make sure not to crane your neck. Keep your neck neutral. You're going to feel the stretch in your low back. Feel the warmth in your belly. If you want to go a little further, you can press down and make sure you're not bunching your shoulders, but let them slide down. If that's hard in your back, just lower the angle. Okay? And now for a plank pose, keep your elbows in and press up just like you're going to do a push-up, but instead of your elbows going out, your elbows point back. So if you were to bend your elbows, they'd go straight back toward your ribs. You want to avoid lifting your hips up too high and avoid sinking them down, but kind of a straight angle between heel and shoulder. Get your core warmed up. If that's hard, you can drop your knees down. Okay? And then hands and knees, child's pose. Hips back. Point your fingers forward. Let your head down. Now, if your head doesn't touch the floor, put a pillow. Otherwise, the back of your neck can never relax. So make sure your head is touching something. All right, come on back up. So you can repeat that sequence a few times if you like, if you want any more. But if you're feeling ready, we'll continue on. So let me show you how the Lotus Wrap works. And I met the creators of the Lotus Wrap at a conference at it's a Northwest Yoga conference up in Seattle, Washington. And they're Kundalini practitioners. And they do a lot of seated meditation. And she was telling me that they do a Vipassana meditation, which is a 10-day silent retreat. Now, I've never done that, but that's definitely on my bucket list. I've talked to a lot of people who've done those, and they can be very challenging, but life-changing as well. And she was saying, you're sitting and you can't talk for 10 days. You're basically just meditating in the morning, you have silent meals, you meditate in the afternoon, you have lunch, you meditate, and then you have dinner, and then you meditate, and you do that for 10 days. So it's a lot of sitting. And she was saying that it was absolutely excruciating for her body to sit. And so she developed this wrap where you basically wrap it around your back. And there's actually dozens of ways you can use it. It comes with a nice little sheet with 20 or 30 different exercises and ways you can use it. Similar to a yoga strap, there's a lot of exercises. So it's got a fabric end and it's got 2 rings. And so just like tying a yoga strap, you go through the 2 rings and then you double back and it tightens up so it's firm. So you find a comfortable sitting position. Now for me, a half lotus is comfortable, but when I first started, it was definitely not comfortable. So this can be done just sitting cross-legged as well. And so the idea is the Lotus Wrap will tighten up around your knees and your lower back, creating a support, kind of a structure for your body. So you just spread it out a little bit, wrap it around, and then once you're in there, I like to give it a little extra squeeze so it tightens up, and then wrap it around so it doesn't slip out. And there you have it. So from the side view, you can see it's taut all the way through my back and my knees. So if my back starts sinking, it pulls on the knees, so then the knees can straighten the back. So it's a really nice support. So if you have trouble sitting when you meditate, I would recommend getting yourself a Lotus Wrap. So for today's meditation, we're going to do something called a rectangle breath. Basically, we divide the breath into 4 quadrants. So you have the inhale retention, the exhale, and the exhale retention. So we're going to count, and you can choose the pace of this, okay? So it should always feel comfortable to you. We're going to do a 4 count inhale. So inhale. Then you're going to hold your breath, retain for 2. Then exhale for 4. And retain the breath out for 2. And then repeat. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. Hold it out. All right? So again, your breath might slow down or speed up a little bit. Try to keep it more or less even, but this is going to be a breathing pattern that over time will become much more comfortable, even if it's not at the very beginning. And if you start to get uncomfortable or anxious or stressed about this, just forget about the pattern for a few breaths. Just breathe normally. And when you feel better, you can start it again. So that it's likely that within 10 minutes, there may be a few times where you'll need to drop the pattern and just start breathing normally. Okay? So if you're comfortable, then we'll begin. And I'm going to keep the time for us. So we'll do 10 minutes. And when you hear the starting bell, we'll begin. And then you'll hear 3 bells at the end. So just breathe naturally for a little while. Keep noticing your breath. And if you'd like to continue meditating, please feel free. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time. Namaste.